We're going to let a few other platforms come on, but welcome, namaste. Behind the camera and the scenes is Dana and Elizabeth. Woo woo, managing all the different platforms here today. So,
just give me a second on
sure.
This one.
A few more seconds.
Good.
1, 2. Before.
Okay, now you're everywhere.
Now I'm everywhere. But welcome everybody to 11:11, of course, Rocky Mountain time. And it's a little rainy here today, so we're getting some moisture, which is always a good thing these days. But we want to talk a little bit about Mercury in retrograde. So if you don't know what that is, I'm sure you may be feeling some intensity. You may be feeling a little bit anxious, have some more anxiety. We're going to talk about that. I know I have been feeling that. Poor Dana. Everyone, just send out some good vibes to Dana, okay?
I think we all feel it.
And if you're an Instagram follower, please give us your name too, because we, the handles, I guess we need to have real names, right?
Yeah,
I guess.
Are we talking about that right now?
No, we can't.
Well, yeah, Deb always does readings. She's going to talk about Mercury Retrograde.
Yes.
But she always does readings as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're here to receive a reading, basically what we need from you is the first name of your loved one that you want to connect with.
But that's a little bit, a few minutes later down the road, right? We're going to do that.
Yep. The first name of your loved one that you want to connect with, you can enter that in, and how they're connected to you. So what their relationship was to you. And if you're on Instagram, definitely type in your first name as well, so that Elizabeth knows the who to direct it to, rather than just your handle. And
I just want to share, I have my new scarf today. This was given to me by my friend and student, Barb. She was in Italy, one of my favorite places. She went to Florence, and Dana and I got scarves, and it's just so soft and beautiful. I just wanted to wear it today. Do I match the wall?
You do.
I want to make sure I'm color coordinated.
It's very pretty.
Yeah. So it's very soft. Very much love it. So please, we want to do some shout outs. So let us know, where you're reaching out from. Of course, we have clients and followers all around the world, which is just so freaking amazing. I love it. And it astonishes me that we can connect with everyone around the world. I guess I can connect to loved ones on the other side. Eventually, our technology can connect with our entire planet, which is so cool. We're talking today about Mercury in retrograde. And if you're not familiar with that, basically, Mercury 3 to 4 times a year, depending on the year, it looks like Mercury is spinning backwards. Of course, it's not possible, but that's what it looks like. And when that happens, it affects so many different parts of our lives, and relationships is a big one this time. It is intense. Things are coming up. You're saying things that maybe you wouldn't have said, or things are misunderstood. There is definitely those kind of connections that can be frustrated. Of course, electronics are the big thing that people feel like, oh my goodness, my electronics, everything's not working. And so if you're feeling that way, and you're feeling intense and a little overwhelmed, just rest assured that our whole planet is probably feeling that way. And this is a time when you want to think about when Mercury in retrograde is coming up, especially for some reason this year. It just seems much more intense, to be as patient as possible. It's a time to renew, to sit back. Maybe don't push things that you would normally have pushed. Perhaps it's letting things go, or letting, things roll off your back, which is not always easy. Backing up your electronics, making sure that everything is safe. Everything has been, saved. I guess if your documents and things like that, you maybe save them more than once.
2 backups.
Have a couple backups. Dana was born in Mercury in retrograde, so many times she is emailing 2 or 3 times because it doesn't get there. So
it's so fun.
It's so fun, yeah. So wearing hematite, getting grounded, finding that peace, doing your meditation, having quiet time, reading books or things that are positive and enriching, being with individuals that are calming as well. Choose not to take on some big decisions or changes during the time of Mercury in retrograde, especially now. I'm trying to figure out when it ends because it came in a couple
October
weeks.
2nd.
October 2nd. So by October 2nd,
I think. Actually, it's on. Yeah. It runs from.
It came in. It will challenge a lot of things. So I'll look through. It started on September 9th and till October 2nd. So it has different phases. If you Google it, it'll show you the different phases if you're not familiar with it. So it's just Mercury in retrograde 2022, and it shows you when the next ones are coming up. And to me, I always tell my students and clients, think of it as being prepared for a weather. So especially being here in Colorado, we like to know what the weather is happening, what's happening in our weather, especially during the winter months and fall, those time when the seasons are really changing, that if you know that there's going to be snow or a lot of rain or things like that, be prepared. Have extra clothing in your vehicle. Make sure you have snacks or water in case, there's some delays. Just giving yourself more time is always the key when it comes to Mercury in retrograde. And when you're feeling that type of anxiety or things that you feel like you're just frustrated, go back to maybe your tools. And I've talked about this in our podcast, Spirited Straight Talk, where have that magic bag around. So you have your go-tos that make you feel good, that remind you of taking a deep breath, maybe having one of your favorite chocolates or coffees or things like that, bring you back to that space. If you have any things that's happened to you or any suggestions for Mercury in retrograde, please share. The tips for that too is maybe these are the times that you take those lavender baths, those Epsom salt baths. Maybe you do more exercise. Swimming, of course, is a great way to shift that energy in your body, because water can be very emotionally healing for us as well. Maybe getting rid of things that no longer serve you too. So as you may be having things that are frustrating, it might be time to release those things, whether it's thoughts, it's items you have, relationships, things like that. You want to just sort of process a little bit differently during this time. Dana has this very serious look. So I'm like, what are you thinking, girlfriend?
So Holly says, my mind is going 100 different directions and I can't settle myself. So some of the things to settle yourself, as you mentioned, were hematite bracelets, using essential oils,
calming tea, anything that you feel is your go-to that will help shift that energy. As most people know me, comedy is really a good thing to go to. Last night we weren't watching comedy. It was pretty intense, but you kind of let go of what's happening in your life when you are watching something that's intense as well. But breathing exercises, yoga, being in nature with animals, babies, those type of things can also help release the tension. But I think it's always the reminder of this too shall pass. It's a temporary situation, but a lot of people are feeling it. Even my son, in his job, he went to work. He says, I don't know what this means, but Mercury's in retrograde, so everyone have patience. And it made me laugh that my 25-year-old son is talking about Mercury in retrograde. But it's, again, if we know there's going to be a lot of traffic, you take more time, or you give yourself more time. Any of these things that that we've done in the past for things to prepare, that's exactly what you need for Mercury in retrograde. Take that time to breathe through it, step back before you say anything, which has not been what I've been doing lately. So Mercury for me has really been on steroids this last few weeks.
Well, so this Mercury in retrograde falls in Libra and Virgo, and there was a specific thing on there that this one,
I think
it was relationships.
Yeah.
Your relationships were going to really feel this Mercury retrograde, I think.
And what we call the shadow side, if you're not familiar with that, the shadow side of us is the things that we hide. But I truly believe this is why we're here, is to put light on the things that we don't like about ourselves so we can become more enlightened. And so there will be some times where that intensity of things in relationships or communication can really bubble up. And in my mentoring program, Solutions, I was telling the group a couple of weeks ago before Mercury went into retrograde, I said, for some reason, I'm feeling there's going to be a lot more intensity coming up in the next several weeks. So basically put on your seatbelt, your helmet, and get ready.
That's
And
exactly what's happening.
that's what's it's been in 21 years. I think this is the most intense I have felt it. And I think a lot of it has to do with people are really shifting. They're looking at things differently. We're more connected with social media and things like that. So I feel like we feel it more than normal.
Mm-hmm.
So
Marcia's asking what type of bracelet, and it's hematite, which hematite is.
It's on our website too. If you want to go to our website, we do market those or sell those, and they're very reasonable. But hematite is a black stone. You usually see it's very shiny. Sometimes if you wear a ring or a bracelet or something like that, it will break. But that is really normal because it's taking the energy from you, so you're not feeling it, and it's releasing it to the universe. Volcano rock too is great. Excuse me, everyone. Any kind of stone too that's helpful. We all know that Mother Nature is a natural process to take that energy and recycle it. So if you feel that you just don't have that hematite and you're at work and you're feeling overwhelmed, get into go outside, walk around the building, take some deep breaths. If you have any essential oils, the lavender, anything that's grounding will be helpful. So have some go-tos for that as well.
Which wrist do you wear your bracelet on? Becca's asking.
I think it depends on either one. The left side is always about receiving, and the right side is about releasing. So I think for this situation, I'd probably wear it on the right side so that you're releasing and moving energy. But again, you can't really do it wrong. To me, it's always about intention, trying to make it work. And if you wear it on one wrist and it's like, oh, this doesn't feel good, switch it. Listen to your intuition. Everything I teach is listening to your body. And if your body is saying, this is what I need, listen to it. So for grounding purposes, some of the things we recommend is coffee, which is grounding, steaks, meat, anything that's protein related, potatoes. Those are things that are very grounding. Vegetables of root. Those are also going to help you become more rooted and connected. Drinking, of course, lots of water. If there's electrolytes, things like that, that's going to certainly help your energy as well. Sleeping may be more agitated or sleepless. That means you're not getting that full recovery. So give yourself grace when you need to have that time for recovery as well. So taking more slow, deep breaths. Don't overfill your plate, basically.
Mm-hmm. So real quick, we want to get into, there might be a couple questions, but anyway, Caitlin Bronson, email Elizabeth at Deb Sheppard. It is on the screen, Elizabeth at Deb Sheppard. Send her a quick email. We'll try to get you on live with Deb later, but we're going to do mini readings in the meantime as well.
Mm-hmm. The other thing with Mercury Retrograde, I don't want people to be in fear, but I also think it's a time to really think about what's coming up so you can look at things, but be patient and give yourself grace and others.
Alita is Odell. She's saying she's just lost and scatterbrained right now. I would say that's
how I'm feeling
right
like
now.
Running here to get. Are you ready to do Facebook? I'm like, yeah. Everything seems to take a little bit slower pace, even though you're rushing. So, yeah, it's very fascinating.
So Karen Kinzer is asking if you can channel the Queen.
Interesting, you say that. I did a session yesterday, and her father basically visited. Because the person,
Queen Elizabeth II's father, the king that
stuttered.
King's
Speech, yeah. And I don't think it was him coming through, but he's certainly the visual of him. And the client's partner who had passed was a speech therapist, and she worked with primarily people that had stutterers that were. Yeah, is that the proper right way to say it? And
speech impediment.
Yeah. So thank you for helping me correct that. So he came through to basically, So that's what's fun. But there's no one to give a message.
He confirmed that.
Yeah, he confirmed it. But I don't know if it was him or just my visual. If that's what she was doing. What she did in this lifetime. Yeah. So it's kind of fun.
Yeah. Very fun. You get such specific details sometimes.
Yes.
Okay, so you want to jump into a couple
Sure,
readings?
absolutely. So for those of you that are new, I use all my clairs, which means I hear, see, taste, smell. Primarily, I'm an empath. A lot of you that are listening probably feel a lot of other people's stuff. That's what I use, that energy, to be able to interpret what I'm getting. In this type of a venue, I usually ask for the name and how they're connected. I don't do that in a private session. If it's a child or in that generation, we ask for the age, just so I can get through it more quickly, just because, again, we're doing a different type of platform. I will smell maybe if there's a certain cologne or if they smoked. I will feel usually how they crossed over. Their personality traits are always really big. Things that they ate or drank. I'll see little videos that help me understand certain things, like seeing the Queen's father. So all of that I blend together to be able to give a message to you. And so sometimes it will come through very quick, may not make a lot of sense, but as you sit back and maybe consider or think about it, it can make a lot more sense. Animals can come through, unborn children, so there's no limit of any type of a soul can show up in a session. So please be open to that as well. Sometimes I hear things too, like music, words, meanings, and it comes through very quickly in these type of settings.
Yeah, it's very cool to watch. I'll just say that.
Okay.
All right. So let's see here. Nicole is on Instagram. She wants to connect with her best friend, Liza, or Lisa. I'm not sure how you say it, but yes.
Okay. First of all, Nicole, I'm so sorry. She is a funny girl. I definitely feel like there's an unexpected death for her, or something that, where I feel like we're unprepared. And she also feels like you guys were sisters from another mother. So definitely two peas in a pod. She's telling me that when you first met, it was like an instant friendship, even though she says there was a lot of either chaos or things happening in your lives when you met. There was this, connection. It's like when you meet that soulmate, that person, you're like, oh my goodness, yeah, we're connected at the hip. She has a huge heart. She's talking about the shirt. It feels like a button-up shirt, something about the shirt. This may be something that you have of hers or that you guys wore, but she's showing me this button-up shirt that has a value, I guess. She's also, I'm getting heaviness in my chest and breathing. So that might have been the end of her passing, something around that heaviness. She's also very smart, but I also feel not always able to get to where she wanted to go. But being young, we have a long time before we get there. So that makes total sense. But she says, peace out is what she's showing me. She gave me the peace sign. And she also has, it feels like a smaller dog with her, roly-poly dog. So that's my sense as well. And I feel like her and her friends may have, or you and your friends may have gotten a tattoo in memory of her, or there's something you've done in memory of her as well. So hopefully that makes sense. And if so, please definitely let us know and post that.
Yeah, share the validation. We'd love to hear.
So I do take notes here. It just keeps me focused. So if anyone wants to know what I'm writing, it's just sort of my way of being able to stay focused. Yeah.
Let's see here. We have on Facebook, Veronica wants to connect with her partner, Logan.
Okay. A lot of quick passings. Logan, again, well, I am overwhelmed in my chest as well. And this is her boyfriend?
Her partner.
Her partner. Okay. First of all, the thing he says, Veronica, is thank you for your patience. And this to me can mean that maybe you took on a lot in the relationship, or you were the more supportive one. The same thing is, Logan too, I'm getting very similar things with the other reading, is very good guy. There's a huge heart, but I'm also seeing him sort of a wild kind of energy. It doesn't have to be a motorcycle, but my image of this is wanting to live a little bit free and wanting to do things on his own terms. Definitely feel like there's an impact for him, or definitely a connection to the head and the chest, but all in here. He's also apologizing about how you either found out or how you learned about his passing. So this could be that, you were there with them or how you got the call, but there's an apology with this. He's talking about wearing the watch or the bracelet as a connection. And I don't feel like he's been gone very long. I feel like there's just so much still processing. And there may have also been some pointing of fingers or some things around his things, what I feel are dynamics in family drama. So he's apologetic for some of those things that you've had to deal with his passing. Mm-hmm. So hopefully that makes some sense.
Yeah, for sure. Share the validations too. And then let's see here. We have Christine Beezer, who's on YouTube. And she wants to connect with her friend Kevin.
Everyone that's this age. Wow.
Yeah.
What's her first name?
Christine. And on Instagram, they're saying, yes, it makes perfect sense.
Okay.
We were very close instantly. She was hilarious. I miss her humor so much, and her death wasn't expected.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm getting like a pattern here today. And that does happen where you're getting very similar losses. And I'm always thinking, okay, am I getting this right? Mm-hmm. So the validations help because having all these people that are in your same generation that's passing. So Christine wants to speak to
her friend Kevin.
Kevin. Okay. Again, I'm getting the first word I get with Kevin, Christine, is a carelessness. And the carelessness doesn't have to be on his behalf. It could be a medical community or other people or how he passed, but I'm getting the word carelessness. And he is saying that you guys had also a relationship that was unique too. This wasn't a romantic relationship by any means, but I definitely feel like and it wasn't like a sibling, brother or sister. This really feels like something that you guys had that was special as well. He is showing me, okay, a cat. Is there a connection to Catwoman or any of those? What are those? Superheroes. So first of all, I saw a cat, then I saw the costume. So if there's a superhero connection, that would be really, I think it might be one of the first times it's came through. So let me know about that. And and I know we're in Colorado. I don't know if he's in Colorado, but he keeps talking about going to the mountaintop or going to the mountain or reaching the top of the mountain. And this could be a metaphor of some sort. I'm really curious about those two things because they're unusual. And I'm glad he's bringing me things that are not like the other readings because I want something unique to come through. He's also, there's a quietness to Kevin, but I feel like when you got to know him, you were honored to be able to get to know him on a deeper level because he just didn't share this with everybody. So the fact that you had this relationship with him was very special because he just didn't open his heart up to every single individual. Mm-hmm. And he keeps talking about the books. So this could be an educational thing, going back to the books, going back to school, going back to that. So let me know if that also resonates with you.
Mm-hmm. And just validation from the previous one too.
From Veronica?
Yeah.
What'd she say?
Yes, very energetic. Today is 1 year anniversary and on point with all the family drama, pointing fingers, and the way of finding out. So she said, just thank you.
I'm so sorry. And I think too, all the privacy things and stuff that, go on. It's good that when they bring that information through, so it's them.
Yeah. And we have Caitlin ready.
Hi, Miss Caitlin.
So let me bring her on and we can do a little live reading here.
And who she want to speak to? Do you know?
Yeah, Caitlin wants to speak with, I have it in my notes here.
That's okay.
Her dad, Dennis.
Dennis.
Yeah, and she's live with you, hopefully.
Hi, Caitlin. Hi, sweetie.
How are you?
Fine. I'm so sorry about your loss. Your dad feels too young, real young.
Yep.
And he's also telling me, is it only been a couple of years?
Yep.
And the fact that I feel like, did you not get the closure you needed when your dad passed?
It was unexpected.
It was unexpected because I feel like he's wanting you to know that I'm so sorry we didn't get to have that connection before he passed. He is taking on some accountability for his passing, and this could be that He didn't go to the doctor. He didn't pay attention to something. He didn't make different choices or didn't take care of himself. Does that resonate with you, Caitlin?
He just had a lot of medical issues and
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. So just all that stuff that's going on. And like, I should have maybe done things differently. So he's bringing this up. So even though he had medical issues, if he passed when you were not prepared, I feel like that's what he's doing, is apologizing. He's also patting you on the top of the head saying, I'm still really proud of you. And he's bringing this up, which happens sometimes, is don't bring on the guilt about, I'm just getting the word guilt. Don't hold on to the guilt of his passing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay. So if anyone is feeling guilt, like would have, could have, should have, he just says, like, let that go. He's also saying that you need to do things for you, that sometimes your direction is you get misdirected on taking care of what you need to do for yourself. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
Okay. Because he says you need to be a priority. The thing that he didn't do is always make himself the priority. But I just feel toxic in his body. I feel like just everything was sort of shutting down and not seeing the seriousness of it. What's the connection to watching the TV show together? Does that make any sense? Yeah, I don't know either.
I used to watch like Seinfeld, so anytime I watch Seinfeld, I always think of him.
Okay, so if you watch Seinfeld or see Seinfeld, that your dad is saying, yes, I'm there with you, because I kept getting this feeling of a TV connection, which a lot of times it's music or things like that. So again, if you're feeling your dad around that time, he's saying, yes, yes, yes. What question do you have for him?
Does he just know about like my kids? Because I've actually found out I was pregnant when I was in the ICU. Like right after his funeral, I got home and found out I was pregnant.
She is pregnant?
Right after his funeral, she went home and found out
she was pregnant. And that might be why he says taking care of yourself. Did you have was your labor with this baby different than the others?
Yep.
That lets you know without a doubt that he was there, because that's something unusual. And he says there were you were concerned about some complications near the end of the pregnancy. Does that make sense?
I had high blood pressure at the very, very end. Okay.
And he says that, yes, he was there the whole time, but this baby has come in like a hurricane. So I feel like this baby must have a lot of energy.
Mm-hmm.
And so is the middle name after somebody?
That's after my dad.
Okay. So this validates to you without a doubt your dad knows, because obviously it's not posted that you had a challenging delivery with this little one. So your dad is absolutely saying, yes, I do know about your children. And that's why he says, take care of yourself.
Yeah, I don't. It's all about them.
Okay. Well, thank you. And I'm so sorry for your loss, but your dad is obviously around. Watch Seinfeld. Great way to have humor. And he just says, you're going to have a lot of energy with this. Is this your third baby?
No, it's my second. But he's wild. They're both wild, but.
Okay. Are you thinking about having a third?
We just moved, so I don't know. I'm not closing the doors.
Okay. So I'm going to let you know that your dad is showing me a third. Doesn't mean you have to have a third unless you want to consider your husband a child, but I don't think that's what he's talking about. I just think that your dad is considering the third is a possibility, but again, he's not telling you to have it or anything like that. Okay.
Okay.
Awesome.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you,
coming
Caitlin.
on.
Yeah.
We appreciate it. All right.
It worked this time. We got somebody on, all those things.
Okay.
So isn't that pretty cool?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Any other ones that we have? Okay. So what I want to remind everybody, Dana and I get so excited. We get to go to Monterey a couple times a year, and we are going back there next week, and we're doing all kinds of fun stuff, but we have some classes. Also, we're doing classes online. So if you want to join us or come to Monterey and enjoy it, please be sure to let us know, because we want you there with us.
So Thursday, the 29th, you have an event in Monterey. So if you're out in that area, come and see Deb Sheppard.
Absolutely.
The tickets are on debsheppard.com.
Mm-hmm. So you can buy tickets. You can meet Dan and I, and we would love to have you. It's one of our favorite places. even though sometimes it gets kind of cold and windy, it's one of our great places.
Yeah.
So with that said, remember that even though your loved ones are on the other side, they are still by your side. Thank you for joining us, and I'm Deb
See you
Sheppard.
next week.
Yes.